Well, good morning, good morning. I'm going to take a moment and enjoy looking at all of the beloveds that have come together here on this Sunday before Thanksgiving. Thank you for choosing to spend time of your Sunday with us here at New Vision Center. Last week, we talked about sufficiency. If you had a chance to be here or listen to the talk, you heard this whole idea that within us there is a thermostat that we can set to let us know when it is enough, when we have done enough, when we have been enough, when there's enough on our plate. And we offered two questions to ask ourselves when things are presented to us. Life has a tendency to present things to us, does it not? Yeah. And so the two questions, if you recall, were a version of, would I really love to do this? Or is it more honest to say, I could handle it? I could handle it. And I've been thinking about it, and I heard from many people who have been practicing with those questions, especially during this time where it's like the busy season is coming, right? There's so many invitations, so many opportunities to participate. And people have let me know that they found a difference in the quality of participation if they take a moment and ask themselves before, is this really mine to do? And some things have fallen away. Some people have chosen not to do certain things. And the things that they have stepped into have a very different quality. They are full of engagement and participation. And so that was our talk on celebrating sufficiency. And then today we are going to explore a related area, and that is this idea of celebrating gratefulness. Gratefulness. Now, I have had a very German week. I don't know if you can hear it in my accent. But I had a German week. I have been listening to German podcasts and talks, and I've been chatting a lot in German. So if at any time I accidentally switch over, would somebody let me know? Yeah. Just say, Karen, other language. So I had a very German week, and I spent a lot of time with one of my favorite teachers. And his name is Bruder David Steindl-Rast. Now, you might have heard the word. I've brought him in a couple of times, because I really appreciate how this man, this Benedictine monk, for decades and decades, has devoted his life to not only really getting into the details of gratefulness and grateful living, but also has found ways to share it. Now, Brother David is 97 years old now, and he just did an interview. Now, just that, I have to say, can you imagine? 97 years old, and he is full of life. Actually, we're going to, later on in the talk, we're going to see a little video of his TED Talk, which he gave 10 years ago, at the young, youthful age of 87, So amazing. So, Brother David, he talks about that there's a distinct difference between gratitude and grateful living. They're related for sure, but there are differences. Now, gratitude we all know, and we're probably practicing it, right? How many have a gratitude journal next to their bedside? And how many actually write into it? Different thing. Different thing. Right? We know gratitude. Something wonderful is happening and we are full of gratitude. Maybe we even express that gratitude. Maybe we send a text to somebody and say, wow, thank you so much. That was amazing how you did this. And just acknowledging something good that happened. Gratefulness, on the other side, is not contingent upon something good happening on the outside, but rather is this idea that every living moment that we have been given a gift. And that gift is life. And even if nothing happens, if it's just this ordinary moment, to recognize that that is truly the gift. It is the gift because it affords us the opportunity to be grateful for the good things that are coming our way. Without that initial gift that has been given, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to be grateful for all of the things that are happening in our lives. Now, I want to invite you to perhaps close your eyes if you're comfortable for a moment and remind yourself of a moment where you felt more this gratefulness. Nothing special was happening, or perhaps you were in nature, or you were with friends or beloveds or the four-legged friends, and there was this moment of awe, of wonder. Can you remember that? Can you feel that? Notice what happens in our body the moment we connect with that. And perhaps that moment is right now. Perhaps right now you are like, oh, my life is just such a gift. And I invite you to come back into the room. That awareness, reminding ourselves that that is available at all times, that is what he's talking about. That is what he's talking about. And of course, there are different ways we hear this. People, sometimes say, but there's so much challenge in my life. My heart was just broken. I just lost the love of my life. I just got a diagnosis. All of those things happen, and I believe that this teaching, Brother David, many beloveds, invite us to make a choice exactly in that moment. Exactly when something challenging has happened. Wayne Miller, who wrote this book that I'm studying right now, A Life of Being, Having, and Doing Enough, he says it so beautifully, and I'm going to just read it. I didn't put it on a slide, but see if you can really feel this. In that inevitable, excruciating human moment when we are offered a powerful choice. The choice is perhaps one of the most vitally important choices we will ever make, and it determines the course of our lives from that moment forward. The choice is this: will we interpret this loss as so unjust, unfair, and devastating that we will feel punished, angry, forever, and fatally wounded? Or, as our hearts, torn apart, bleeds its anguish and sheer wordless grief, will we somehow feel the loss as an opportunity to become more tender, more open, more passionately alive, and more grateful for that which we have. That moment, and I know we all have had those moments, where it would be so easy to give in. I think about that slide that I had a couple of weeks ago where the entire slide is yellow and there's the black spot. And when we are in those moments where we are right in front of that black dot because something has just happened, it is so tempting to forget about all of the other things. It sometimes even feels cruel to do that. And yet, that is that decision that we are called into, to make that choice in that very moment. This moment is really, really hard. And yet, I choose to remind myself that my life has so much more to offer. My life calls me forth to be available to so much more. And of course, it takes time. And we're not saying deny what just has happened, but to keep it in perspective. I have had a couple of conversations with beloveds this week who were yearning and saying, I need a different perspective because this thing that happened a week ago, 3 weeks ago, a year ago, 5, 10 years ago, is still having a hold of me. It is my black spot, and I'm done with it. How do I do that? One of the ways to do that is to practice gratitude, gratefulness. This gratefulness that we are talking about. And our brother David is known, and I think we have a slide about this. He says it this way. He said, you can't be grateful for everything, but you can be grateful in every moment. Now, why is that? Well, of course, we cannot be grateful for the challenges that are going on in the world. We can't be grateful for war and famine. And on a more personal level, we can't be grateful for whatever happened to us that hurt, maybe betrayal or the loss of a beloved. And yet, he says, but we can be grateful in every moment, because every moment offers the opportunity to remind ourselves that there is more, that there's that bigger slide, and that it is up to us to make that choice. And I believe that a community like New Vision Center is really designed to help us, to support us in making these choices over and over and over. Because we all have had things happening in our lives. I am a big proponent of dispelling the myth that when you choose a spiritual life, nothing is going to happen anymore. It's just not the case. And yet, we are giving opportunities to learn to deal with it differently, to put it into perspective. And there's this wonderful, very, very easy way and tool that we can use. And it's so easy. We teach it to our kids all the time. And it is called Stop, Look, Go. Right? I was taught that as a kid when I came to a street, stop, look, and go. And we can utilize it exactly in this desire to have more gratefulness in our life and therefore have a happier life. So let's start with a stop. We think we need to remind ourselves how wonderful our lives truly are. If you think about it, any ordinary day in our lives is a dream day in millions of people's lives. Just breathe that in. The things that we have available to us, clear water, a roof over our head, a place to go and be safely worshiping however we desire. Any ordinary day in our life is what millions of people would love. So how can we then build in stop signs in our daily life? Well, perhaps the next time you go and turn on the faucet, you remind yourself, wow, I have access to clear, clean water. Or you flip a light switch. I've known people who have made it a practice that every time they touch a doorknob, a way of opening any door, to have that be the reminder how grateful they are that they're able to walk up to a door and they're able to open to new possibilities. Be creative. What might be a stop sign in your life that would help you? Perhaps it's when you get out of bed in the morning and your feet touch the ground. Perhaps that is the moment to say, I'm so grateful I'm able to get out of bed. Or this breath. Let's all just take a breath right here. So we are invited to find ways to wake us up, stop signs in everyday living. And then when we are woken up, we are asked to look. What are we looking for? What is really present here? Perhaps when we have this stop sign built in, it is a moment to think, what am I grateful for? My health, my beloved, my furry friend, my job, my calling, my opportunity to be who I choose to be in this world, my opportunity to live in a country that is for me and for my freedom. And there are millions of people who do not experience it. Look in your own life. How can you remind yourself, wow, I am so blessed? And then go. What is the go? Well, when we really look and open our eyes and our ears and really listen and open our heart, life will ask of us something. Have you ever noticed that? Somebody called, you hear about a need, or somebody has an idea. Life has a way to make itself known. If we only stop and listen and look and give it some time, some spaciousness. What is the rush? I believe we have a little video. Let's listen to Brother David, and you will appreciate my accent.
The future of the world will be a network, not a pyramid turned upside down. The revolution of which I'm speaking is a non-violent revolution, and it's so revolutionary that it even revolutionizes the very concept of a revolution. Because the normal revolution is one where the power pyramid is turned upside down, and those who were on the bottom are now on the top, and are doing exactly the same thing that the ones did before. What we need is a networking of smaller and smaller groups who know one another, who interact with one another, and that is a grateful world. A grateful world is a world of joyful people. Grateful people are joyful people. And joyful people, the more and more joyful people there are, the more and more we'll have a joyful world. We have a network for grateful living, and it has mushroomed. We couldn't understand it why it mushroomed. We have an opportunity for people to light a candle for when they are grateful for something. And there have been 15 million candles lit in 1 decade. People are becoming aware that a grateful world is a happy world. And we all have the opportunity, very simple, stop, look, go, to transform the world, to make it a happy place. And that is what I hope for us. And if this has contributed a little to making you want to do the same, stop, look, go. Thank you.
I just love him. 87 years old. Amazing, isn't it? Stop, look, go. Take a moment, feel into. What might that be for you? Stop, look, go. For everyone, there was just a funny moment where somebody went through the whole sanctuary. Stop, look, go. Inspiration happened. Inspiration. All right, I want to finish with another one of these German inspirations that came through this week. Hildegard von Bingen, the mystic, she said that, and I believe, I don't know if Rhonda can make the slide appear there. It is, all of creation is a song of praise to God. All of creation is a song of praise to God. And what that really reminds me of is whatever your go is, let that be a praise of the divine. Let that be a sign of a joyful, grateful individual that is so aware of the gift that has been given, that we continuously just offer it up to the world as a painting, as a story, as music, as a song, as being a great friend, as cooking, as anything, as being a prayer. And let us anchor into one right now. Let us just take a moment, take all this goodness and this reminder of this gift that is life. And with an easy breath, we just open our heart and our mind. We hear that all is truly well. God is, I am, we are. And this now moment that is filled with love and harmony and joy and possibility and abundance and all the good that life has to offer. And with a breath, we make ourselves available to it. And as we consciously step into this moment of prayerfulness, I speak a word for all of the beloveds who have reached out for support, for knowing the truth about them. I speak a word that all of these seeds that have been planted, are going to continue to go on and grow and become the mighty oaks of manifestation that they are meant to be. So how grateful, how very, very grateful I am for all the good that is happening. I'm noticing. And so it is with a grateful heart that I call this good and very good. And together we can anchor this, as we say.